Welcome to the Gavel. I'm Kekere-Ekun, and I'm pleased to announce personally that full legislative activities have resumed at the National Assembly. In the House of Representatives, it was quite a week of urgent motions, most of them calling for investigation. And not unexpectedly, the petroleum and security sectors were the main focus. Now, the House of Representatives referred a motion to allow all the petroleum marketers lift PMS directly from Dangote Refinery to a joint National Assembly ad hoc committee, which is to be inaugurated soon. Similarly, the House of Reps passed a resolution to investigate allegations of bribery against the EFCC and the Nigeria Correctional Service. Here's a report on the activities of the House in the past week.
It was a full house in the Green Chamber on Wednesday as lawmakers reconvened after suspending plenary the previous day in honor of late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. Having resumed from their annual long recess, the Speaker welcomed his colleagues with a speech on matters that arose during the holiday and the next line of action for the House, especially in the area of insecurity.
Security remains a top priority for this House. The safety and well-being of every Nigerian are non-negotiable. We will continue collaborating with the executive and relevant agencies to combat insecurity in all its forms. Legislative reforms will be prioritized to strengthen our security institutions, ensuring they respond more to emerging challenges. We commend the President for signing the counter-terrorism bill into law, making a crucial step in strengthening our collective fight against insecurity across the nation. As previously committed, the House of Representatives will hold a high-level legislative security summit in the final quarter of this year. This summit will address Nigeria's urgent security challenges by bringing together key stakeholders, including executive, security agencies, policy experts, and civil society organizations.
The devastating flood in Borno and other states was also captured in the Speaker's address.
It is also crucial to acknowledge the devastating impact of climate change on our communities, especially the recent flooding in Maiduguri, Katsina, Sabangari in Kaduna State, and other parts of the country. We extend our deepest condolences to all those affected. These environmental disasters call for an urgent and comprehensive legislative response, strengthening environmental laws, bolstering support for frontline enforcement personnel, and prioritizing renewable energy initiatives.
The flood situation was further buttressed in a motion of urgent national importance from a member from Bauchi State.
Worried that destruction caused by the flood had adversely affected businesses, academic activities, and social academic activities in those areas, call on the authorities concerned to come to the rescue of the situation and provide urgent alternatives to serve as succor to the affected people and the communities.
The House had sent a delegation to Borno State to condole with the government and the people, as well as made a 100 million naira donation in support of the displaced persons. Meanwhile, another matter of urgent national importance was raised by the minority leader on the intermittent tremor in some parts of the Federal Capital Territory.
The House is concerned that by recent reports from the media and private residents in various districts in Abuja, such as Mpape, Maitama, and Gwarempa, who have experienced intermittent tremors and vibrations over the past few months. The House is disturbed that despite investigations, there appears to be no conclusive explanation for these occurrences. There is growing fear among the residents that these tremors could be a precursor to a more significant seismic event or structural damages to properties.
The matter was referred to the Committees on Environment and the Federal Capital Territory for prompt investigation. During Thursday's plenary, the back and forth in the petroleum industry regarding the Dangote Refinery took center stage as the House debated the decision of the NNPC to be the sole lifter of PMS from the refinery.
Mr. Speaker, the House resolved, urged the federal government to mandate the NNPCL and the Dangote Refinery to allow the independent marketers to lift PMS from the Dangote Refinery. mandate the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL, to reveal the price itself crude oil to the Dangote refinery, and also mandate the Dangote refinery to reveal the price itself PMS to the NNPCL to ensure transparency.
A couple of weeks ago, we set up another committee, which was inaugurated, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago, on this same subject matter. Mr. Speaker, I recommend that it is appropriate that we hand over all Dangote-related issues and matters to this said committee.
I do not think at this level that the issue of NNPCL and Dangote refinery should be confined to the committee level. I want to suggest and amend the prayers in the motion that the GMD of NNPCL should be invited, summoned by this House, to give clear explanation to Nigerians.
The Speaker guided the debate to a conclusion.
We are supposed to inaugurate the Joint House and Senate Committee to investigate this issue holistically. But we decided after consultation that we should make the announcement today of the membership and fix a date next week for the inauguration of this committee. And one of the terms of the reference is to look into this same thing you are talking about. So I think it will be a duplication of efforts.
Another matter before the House was the allegation of bribery against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission following the trend in social media voice conversation involving one Idris Okuneye, a cross-dresser sentenced earlier this year to 6 months in prison for mutilation of Naira notes.
The House also notes the publication alleges that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, dropped money laundering charges against Idris Okuneye, also known as Bob Risky, upon collection of a sum of 15 million naira. This House further notes that the publication alleges that the Idris Okuneye, upon conviction for abuse and defacing of the naira by the court, did not serve his time at the Nigeria Correctional Service, but was lodged outside the confines of the service.
From the lower to the upper chamber, where the appointment of Justice Kekere-Ekun was confirmed as Chief Justice of Nigeria. Also, President Bola Tinubu has declined assent to a bill seeking to extend the tenure of the service of legislative officers at the National Assembly, as well as the 36 state houses of assembly from 35 to 40 years, and their retirement age from 60 to 65. Yes, the president declined this assent, and it was conveyed in a letter read on the floor of the Senate by the President of the Senate. Here's a look into the Senate chamber this past week.
The Senate resumed from its annual recess to various correspondences from the presidency, amongst which is a rejection to sign the retirement age bill.
I write in respect of the harmonized retirement age for the legislative officers of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria bill, passed by the National Assembly and forwarded to me for assent. Upon thorough examination and careful consideration, I have decided to withhold my assent to the bill. This decision is made in accordance with the powers vested in me by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The bill, which sought to extend the service years of hundreds of workers who were due to exit the legislative system from 2024, was introduced under the 8th Assembly and has consistently hit the rocks before the current decline. A minute of silence was then held in honor of the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, who passed away during the holiday period of the National Assembly.
May the great soul of distinguished Senator Ifeanyi Ubah rest in perfect peace.
In his welcome address, the President of the Senate touched on security challenges across the country, while reassuring Nigerians of the Senate's swift response to the current economic hardship.
We want Nigerians to know that their struggles are not lost on this Senate. Our sacred duty as your earnest representatives remain to respond with the urgency and compassion that the current situation deserve. Amidst these trials, we have also seen commendable strides in various sectors from the executive arm of government, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Our agricultural initiatives are beginning to bear fruits. The strides made in infrastructure can be seen by all, even starting from the Federal Capital Territory. These glimmers of hope paved the way for a brighter future. The hard-won gains must not overshadow the pressing issues that still loom large before us. We must, as senators, prioritize the issues of security of our great nation, ensuring that every citizen can walk down any street in this country without fear.
On Tuesday, Justice Kekere-Ekun was admitted into the Senate chamber for screening for full confirmation of her appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria. She was accompanied by other senior judicial officers. The CJN ruled out her leadership qualities before the commencement of the screening.
I served in various divisions. I served in Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, Makurdi, and Akure divisions. I was the first presiding justice in the Makurdi division of the Court of Appeal. I set up that division of the Court of Appeal. I also served on the Information Technology Committee of the Court of Appeal. By the grace of God, on the 8th of July 2013, I was appointed a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. I was the 5th female to be appointed to such a position.
The screening process began with the Deputy Senate President by validating her pedigree.
We know you have a wonderful pedigree. You were demonstrated that over the years in doing well in all assignments given to you. We've seen that over the years. So how will you bring that to bear in ensuring that we have integrity in the performance of our judiciary?
We have a committee of the NJC that deals with performance evaluation. And what that does is they assess judgments delivered, they assess how judges are performing their functions, and they have regular conferences. And what I know is that we are even making moves now to tighten that performance evaluation process.
Senators across the 6 geopolitical zones took turns in asking questions on various judicial concerns, especially the abuse of executive order and interim injunctions.
Is the hand of the judiciary tight in the possibility of not meting out sanction? Or do you need an intervention of legislation in making sure that such irresponsibility is actually made by a law of the National Assembly, in making sure that it's criminalized? What's your opinion about it?
Where this power to issue ex parte orders is abused, those found responsible will be dealt with decisively.
Are the senators corrupt? Is the judiciary corrupt? Which of them, which of the Nigerians is David Cameron referring to?
I want to believe that his question was rhetorical, and I have, I think, the permission of His Excellency to pass it over.
Justice Kekere-Ekun is then asked to take a bow and leave, and her appointment as Chief Justice of Nigeria is confirmed.
Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice Kudirat Moton-Mori Olatukumba Kekere-Ekun for appointment as the Chief Justice of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice Kudirat Moton-Mori Olatukumba Kekere-Ekun is hereby confirmed as the Chief Justice of the Federation of Nigeria.
Welcome back to the Gavel. The breakdown is next with PLAC. PLAC is the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, a civic organization that works directly with the National Assembly, providing legislative support in the form of capacity building and training for lawmakers and the Secretariat of the National Assembly. Now, while the considerations around the appointment of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, even at state level, continue, here's the breakdown on that with Black.
When you do have an independent National Electoral Commission, the proposition is that you have an election management body that is independent, that is objective, that is credible, and non-partisan. And I think increasingly that concern is there, that the election management body is losing its non-partisanship credibility. In 2010, when Professor Tahiru Jega was appointed chair, everyone was applauded that decision, and we did see an election where there was little or no accusation of partisanship, even right up to the elections in 2015. And the circumstances that led to Professor Jega's appointment was predated by the Electoral Reform Committee headed by Justice Uwais, and the recommendations were made. Before that, there was the elections of 2007 that was a disgrace to democracy in this country. And then we seem to have a challenge now that we are returning, or maybe even have returned to the disgrace that 2007 represented. And for us, I think it's a major concern that you have again the concern that partisan elements have been appointed into INEC, that citizens are feeling that the body is not able to be objective in the work that it is doing, and that elections have deteriorated since 2015. So it becomes important as we go forward to re-examine the question, how do you appoint election management body leaders, the national commissioners, the chairman, the state resident electoral commissioners? It's a key issue at this time. How do you appoint people who should be non-partisan and who can deliver on credible elections? And when you look at the method of appointment, every single nomination, whether it is of a REC or a national commissioner or the chairman of a commission, comes from the president. No other person intervenes or interferes. And where a president is very, very minded towards entrenching control of the politics, they have tended to appoint people whom they can control. And so we need to pull back from that. When President Yar'Adua came into office in 2007, he understood what the challenge was, and he understood even the process that threw him up as president, and acknowledged that it was a failed election. In 2023, the elections were very badly organized. Of course, the courts have made their ruling and people have moved on because we need our democracy to survive. But those who have benefited from the very badly organized 2023 elections need to understand that we cannot continue in this country to organize elections that lack credibility. I don't think that that honesty is determined by professional qualifications. I think that you need good education. You don't need to appoint anybody into INEC who simply because they have a title to their name. I think you need to find a way of appointing non-partisan people into electoral management system, and have a system that also holds them to account for failure to deliver on the job they have been given.
And this week on Constituency Focus, we'll speak to Senator Francis Fadansi, representing Osun East Senatorial District of Osun State.
In the last 4 years, which we have not even finished, just last week, we still did about 2 or 3 empowerment, which no senator is even doing again. But nowadays, it should go beyond it. The power generation is poor now. The distribution is almost at 0. If the situation of power improves, then we want small scale industries. We have to go further. Enough of distributing 5,000 naira, which could not bring any development. If the state, like what Osun is doing now, Osun is now doing some major roads to connect the farmers. Then our own would like to do feeder roads in conjunction with the local government. The local government now is working, at least in Osun. That's my area. My area is Osun East. That's Ife, Idisa, senatorial district. Our problem now is the major road, that federal road that passed through Osun to Ekiti, Ondo, and Kwara. So if those major roads could be done by the federal government, then we'll be okay. The remaining roads that we attract the farmers to come from the villages to town, that is our own problem, which is major. So we'll be able to cooperate with the state and federal, because we have been doing it, including bridges. Then we are going seriously to agric this year. God so kind. The 2 ministers in agric are all agric experts, and they are from Senate. So we have to go to meet, and we have met them to advance our own cause. Because the more we produce food, the less you see villagers coming to town to disturb peace. Then, if there is power, we have to connect them to do a lot of more of artisan work, which we are trying to do now. We have provided enough transformers, which at least there's no local government that got less than between 5 to 10 out of 11 local governments. We are still doing it. Then the rural electrification is the problem, which is major, which we have to start begging the federal government. And I know under President Tinubu, who is almost from rural area too, we know how to assist us. And by the grace of God, before we finish this, you will see that the economy will improve. Without the economy of the rural area improving, there's nothing the cities can do.
And that's the Gavel this week. Thanks for your time. Catch us next week. I'm Kekere-Ekun. Goodbye.